Oh, Alpine. Since taking over the Renault name in 2021, it's become common knowledge across Formula One that if you want to laugh at a team, you laugh at them. Choosing a team to laugh at and not feel guilty is quite a difficult task. You can laugh at Ferrari for their strategies and poor performances, but there's a sense of feeling bad because you know where they should be. You can laugh at Red Bull for their performance in Singapore, yet you know that was a bit of a unicorn weekend and they'll be back to their regularly scheduled program for the rest of the season and potentially all of next year. You can even laugh at Mercedes if you want, and although some people enjoy laughing at George Russell and fair play to them, unless you're a Red Bull fan, there's always a sense of wrongdoing. But with Alpine, I find no sense of guilt, but rather I expect to do just that almost every session. G'day guys, my name is F1 Luke Sam and thank you for clicking on today's video. Now, when they were called the Renault F1 team and rocked that sexy yellow and black livery, they weren't the laughing stock of the sport. This may be down to some positive results brought by Daniel Ricciardo or the team management by their former team principal Cyril, who I actually kind of liked. But since their inception as Alpine, there's been multiple occasions where all Formula One fans could do is laugh. So let's explore why Alpine have become the front runner for the easiest team to laugh at in Formula One. When Alpine signed Pierre Gasly to partner Esteban Ocon this season, making it two French drivers at a French team, I assumed if both running their cars at the same time, it may just create a black hole. But instead of creating that black hole, it created a safe space to add years to our life by laughing. But it hasn't just been this season, so let's go back to 2021 where it all started. Their 2021 season had a bit of a rough start but a smooth finish. They signed two-time world champion Fernando Alonso, who is widely known to be the driver to always move to the wrong team, and this season it kind of looked like he'd carried on with that tradition. During the first race in 2021, he retired due to debris being caught in his car, causing it to overheat. And his teammate Esteban Ocon, who is widely known to never get along with his teammate, was tangled up in a battle, but not with his teammate, with Aston Martin driver Sebastian Vettel. Although it's usually their on-track antics, which are often the point and laugh type, this year a lot of their off-track antics hit the funny bone too. First, Alonso never attended the car launch. Granted, the funny part wasn't that he was in a cycling accident, which half prevented him, it was more that the travel restrictions between Switzerland and the UK did. Then, for the next episode of the comedy special, they opted out of having a team principal for the 2021 season. I'm not sure in what world this is a good idea, but they decided after sacking Cyril that they don't need a designated single boss. They believe this could work, but I guess they also believed their engines could work too, so their belief was clearly misplaced. As early as April 2021, there were already signs that their two drivers were not going to get along. Although they scored their maiden points in a crazy Imola race, it wasn't without battling it out between the two of them. They finished just 85 thousandths of a second away from each other, which Ocon called fun. Knowing these two, the adjective fun would not be used for much longer. Now in the June of 2021, it was clear that Alpine had decided to start focusing on next year's car and their driver lineup, re-signing Ocon until the 2024 season, while Fernando Alonso made it very clear he wishes to remain racing for the 2022 season. You know what? In the August of 2021, it started to look up. Alonso was just re-signed for the following season, and Esteban Ocon won his first race in Formula One after a hectic Hungarian Grand Prix. He held off Sebastian Vettel for almost the whole race, and I tell you what, I started to think maybe Alpine have made the right call with this guy. After 15 consecutive points finishes, it wasn't until the Austin Grand Prix where both drivers retired, ending that streak. I'd say it was this point where the team really started to backpedal, and it comes down to one thing: Laurent Rossi's 100 race project. Look, it sounds good in theory, and Alpine started their 2022 campaign off with a bang, losing their executive director Budkowski, who also sat as their unofficial team principal in 2021, and they also didn't renew legend Alain Prost's contract. What did he do at the team? I'm not really sure, to be honest. They also picked up Otmar Szafnauer, so now you know they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. The actual start of the 2022 season wasn't awfully bad. Alonso challenged for pole in Australia before kissing a barrier at the end of Sector 2 on his final run, and the team's pace wasn't really that bad. However, Alonso started the season with 2 DNFs, which, if you ask me, is the reason they looked so good. because Ocon didn't have a teammate to fight. Most of the season was very Alpine-ish, if you ask me, and it sounds kind of gross, but that's the only word I can use to describe it. Some good results here and there, reliability issues, their best driver openly saying he is open to any seat in Formula 1, you know, the usual for Alpine. But in other words, Alonso was telling them, hurry up man, sign me. Alpine looked very reluctant to sign Fernando. To be honest, he was one of the top drivers on the grid once again, yet Alpine couldn't stop blowing smoke up Oscar Piastri, putting them in a difficult spot. Re-sign multiple time world champion or future world champion. Well, there goes the multiple time world champion, he's off to Aston Martin. Good thing Otmar and the team had invested so heavily into a young superstar. Well, Oscar Piastri's tweet stating that he will not be driving for Alpine next year was a firm shot from the rookie, but was it a fair bump? This was made possible after McLaren had dumped Ricciardo. Otmar and the Alpine team took a crack at Oscar, ripping into his lack of integrity, but in an ironic way, the team then went on to drop their own integrity, saying that, and I'm paraphrasing here, well, we literally have one driver next season. We will take anyone, literally anyone. We'll even take Daniel Ricciardo back. Alpine clearly leaving negotiations going on for far too long with Alonso, mainly due to his age, encouraged him to sign elsewhere. While on a boat in Spain, ignoring everyone's phone calls, sipping a sparkling wine of his choice, I'm sure. Alpine would go on to lose their future star driver, and sign Pierre Gasly for the 2023 season. Now, it was a big deal for Pierre to leave the Red Bull family, but if I'm being honest, he'd most likely been looking for a way out for years now. Alpine looked like a good home for him, until you remember, it's Alpine, and these two drivers had beef going back all the way to their karting days. Ocon and Alonso would continue to fight for the rest of the season before a bitter goodbye, and for now, their 100 race plan had been looking as bright as mud. They were literally mudded. As I said before, I thought if the two French drivers at a French team had touched each other, at any point this season, they would create a black hole. And they did try and test this theory in Australia at the last red flag restart, but it wasn't a black hole. Instead, it was closer to a gigantic damage bill. It's alright though, multiple investors, Ryan Reynolds being one of them, invested a sum of 200 million euros into Alpine, so that should more than cover it. If there's one thing I take from this investment, it's don't take Ryan Reynolds' financial advice. However, one person's advice I would like to take is Jeremy Clarkson. He does a lot of controversial things, but he also delivered crates of beers to Alpine after Ocon's podium in Monaco. Monaco is the only real place Alpine has looked quick though, aside from Miami, and Kevin Magnussen was quick in Miami, so take that as you will. They are consistently inconsistent, and I have serious doubts about their ability going forward. Alpine kind of agreed too. They got rid of Otmar Safnauer as their team principal recently. A lot strikes me wrong with this team, from the consistent team battles to Pierre's reaction after being asked to give Ocon his place back at the end of the Japanese Grand Prix to the way their car looks. No, I'm just joking. That livery is most likely my favourite livery of all time, certainly from Alpine, but maybe any team ever. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, thank you. If you did enjoy, please be sure to like and comment. Of course, subscribe if you are new, as 95% of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed. That would help out a small creator like myself immensely. But with that being said, you've reached the end of the video. Congratulations. Click the video on the screen to watch another one. I think you'll love it. I've been F1 Luke Sam, and you guys, as always, have been amazing. Stay safe.